ready for University of Georgia basketball.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. University of Georgia Bulldogs basketball returns this week, and we're going to have a great time with it all. This will be the weekly sports recap here, but basketball season now, so we will mostly talk about basketball. We still will talk about football and what's around the SEC too. So, just gonna browse about it all, right? Because obviously this is a Georgia basketball channel, and I want to include other sports, but it's basketball first. But before we do basketball, we will talk about Georgia and Auburn. Before we do that, we will talk about the other scores in the SEC. Go ahead and get this out the way, because to be honest, the only SEC game I watched this week was, with the exception of Georgia and Auburn, was Texas and Oklahoma. So we go here week 7. We go to SEC week 7. Ole Miss beat Washington State 24-21. Texas A&M beat Florida 34-17. Texas beat Oklahoma 23-6. That was a shocker. I actually had Oklahoma winning that game. Alabama beats Missouri 27-24. LSU beats South Carolina 20-10. And Tennessee beats Arkansas 34-31. And Georgia beats Auburn 20-10. Excuse me. I will say there have been some coaches fired. Oregon State fired their coach. James Franklin got fired at Penn State, which I thought was very shocking because I like James Franklin. But you've lost 3 in a row. You lost to Oregon, that's okay. Didn't you lose to UCLA, which is very shocking? Didn't you lose to, I think it was Northwestern? And at Penn State, you just cannot do that at all. And if you're an SEC fan, you might not know the name, but Trent Dilfer was fired at UAB. That should have been done 2 years ago, but finally time for him. I keep repeating to myself, I can't believe he has a job. I follow UAB fans for some reason. I have a small UAB following, so I know what they feel about Trent Dilfer, and it's time to. I'm glad that for them that I'm glad he's gone. Roddy White, former Atlanta Falcons receiver Roddy White said he would like to have the job, so that would be excellent. I don't know if the UAB management or athletic staff administration is going to do that, but Roddy White being there would be pretty cool. And the Falcons, speaking of the Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons play tonight on Monday Night Football. I should have probably waited another day to do this so I could talk about the Falcons, but in all honesty, I really don't care at the moment. So, okay, this is if it was the Falcons' main channel, then yeah, we would have waited to Tuesday or Wednesday, but because it's not, and I like to keep things organized, we move. A busy week this week, guys. We're gonna have Georgia basketball videos on Wednesday. And then the usual Georgia football videos on Saturday. If you've been noticing, there's actually been a lot. I've been posting a lot lately, and that's because I'm trying to get back in the swing of it. This will be the first year that now I did football and basketball highlights last year together. In 2023, I did too, but this is the first time that I'm having spoken videos with football and basketball for a very, very long time. I mean, it just has been a while, so hopefully I know that I'm going to get burnt out at some point, but I hope it's near the end of the basketball season. because that kind of happened a little last year. And to be fair, I think if it was not for Georgia beating Florida and winning 4 straight, the burnout would have been unbearable. But Georgia winning those 4 straight games kind of reduced me a little bit to getting past the season. And then when Georgia when Georgia got to the NCAA tournament, of course I was excited. I was just tired, man, because I mean, it was rough. It was rough. I'm also sick, so that wasn't good. But back to what we have to talk about, and we'll start with Georgia. We'll start with Georgia football. Georgia beats Auburn 20-10 in just one of the most bizarrest games you'll ever see played in SEC football. Where do we start? So Auburn comes out in their first drive straight firing, and we're going to have highlights because we do that now. We'll have highlights. Matter of fact, before I even start, here's the first half highlights with Scott Howard, Josh Brock, Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Auburn trying to take the lead here first. Snap it to Arnold, and he'll fake it to Cobb, and he'll stroll into the end zone left side. He had to block from his big tight end and untouched into the end zone. Auburn on the board first with a 2-yard touchdown run by Jackson Arnold.
At time 2 by DeMello Jones. Everybody wants to know why he's playing. That's it right there.
Here's Alex McPherson for the field goal try. Near hash, kicking this way to the right, and he boots it up and through a 25-yard chippy. And that puts Auburn up 10-0. Auburn breaks the huddle. Look at this. Looks like the victory formation. Everybody's in tight. They give it to Arnold. He just dives over the top. No signal yet. There's a big pile on the goal line. Still no signal. Georgia came out with a ball. Kyron Jones has the ball. Is going the other end of the field. No signal yet. Now the officials will stop play. Official timeout. And Jones has run down to the far end of the field with the football in his hands. I don't even know if the officials have looked down there. Kirby's trying to get their attention to say, look, we've got the ball down to the other end.
After further review, the runner lost control of the ball prior to reaching the plane of the goal line. Now it's fumbled, covered by the defense, and then throws the ball at the 1 yard line.
Well, they didn't get the touchdown, but neither did Georgia. I think he said, if I could hear, I couldn't hear him clearly, but did he say 1 yard line? Is that where they're putting it?
1 yard line, minus 1 yard line.
So why was the ball dead on the 1 yard line? Did we have a player touching it at the 1 yard line?
No.
I mean, we're looking at the replay. The ball's still sitting on top of the pile there. It was never.
I guarantee you, their thought is that's when they thought the play was dead, and they blew the play dead there, and that's where it should be.
That goes back to what you said. We didn't hear a whistle.
Didn't hear a whistle. Nope.
But apparently there was one because Georgia has the ball now. So Auburn denied a touchdown. Georgia just trying to get it out off the goal line. But a 29-yard field goal from the right hash, kicking away from us, kicking to the left. Snap, hold, kick on the way, and it's good.
Okay, so you see Auburn was out firing, and Georgia couldn't stop Auburn. It's 10-0. Auburn's driving to the goal line to go up 17-0. And then Arnold takes it, which I apologize because I have not went back and watched my video Saturday afternoon. I think I accidentally called Arnold Peyton Thorne. I'm not sure if I did or not because, I was watching the 2023 game. Before that game, before I recorded the video, I watched the game when it played from 2023. Georgia's interception. I can't remember who picked it off right now, but so if I accidentally called Arnold Thorne, I apologize. I did not mean to. So back to what I was saying. 10-0 driving. Arnold takes it and drives into the end zone. At first, I thought it was a touchdown. On the regular ESPN broadcast, you could not see the ball pop out. Then you see the Georgia player pulling it out, running down, and you're like, oh, what happened? Then you get the side camera replay, which is the goal line, facing, towards the goal line, and you see, oh, he fumbled. The ball's out. The ball was out. And I think it's one of them calls that could have went. There's two sides of it. Either it should have been a touchdown for Auburn, or it should have been a touchdown for Georgia. I can't speak of Auburn, but I can Georgia. The fact that wasn't a touchdown for Georgia is absolutely disgusting. I mean, the whistle never blew. There was never a blown whistle at that moment when the Georgia player picked it up and ran to the end zone. There never was a whistle blew. And I don't know the rules like that. So maybe if a fumble happens, it stops, which I don't believe is the case, because you've seen 100 times people fumble at the 1 yard line, scoop it up, and run it back for a touchdown. So I don't know what the rules is, but it should have been a Georgia touchdown. I guess you could make the counterclaim it should have been Auburn touchdown. Arnold was over the goal line. And I think that, excuse me, as a Georgia fan, and if you're an Auburn fan watching this, I think we could combine. I think we can agree to this. That officiating crew was absolutely horrid. The final 2 minutes of the first half took like 35 minutes to finish. And that's just unacceptable. That is unacceptable to be a SEC crew. And that's happening to you. I mean, you know, well, you get what I'm saying. That is horrible. Every official on that field should be suspended for 4 freaking games or whatever it takes, because apparently Auburn was screwed for Ole Miss. I didn't know that. I did not watch Auburn and Ole Miss, so apparently Auburn had already been screwed versus versus Oklahoma. Excuse me, not Ole Miss, Oklahoma. Apparently they had lost to like Oklahoma off some weird calls. And to be honest with you, I don't know, because I didn't watch Auburn and Oklahoma. But so apparently that happened, and you know, Georgia, after the fumble, gets the ball at the 1. And then there's even some weird calls on Georgia's drive that helps Georgia. So, I mean, the SEC is helping Georgia for once. I can't believe it. Like a targeting, it was a necessary roughness, and then targeting, then offsides. Then Georgia gets free off of it. But if you're an Auburn fan, you're like, that's a win considering everything. Then the second half happens. And I know I might make a few people mad with this. That fumble did not cause you to just have 20 yards in the second half. Like, you get what I'm saying? You straight up lost the game in the second half because your offense sucked. Here are second half highlights.
Move in the pocket, and now here Georgia's ready to go fast.
30-yard gain. They're in the Massey Ferguson red zone. Dogs goal to go on the Auburn 2. Handed off to Bowens. He goes low. He drives towards the goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown, Bowens! That is some leg drive right there, my friends. Bowens went low, contorted his body, stretched the ball out across the goal line, broke the plane apparently. And the side judge came running in from the far sideline with his arms raised. And the Auburn student section, or fans underneath us, can't believe it here in the end zone. Dogs a point away from tying the game at 10. Extra point try by Peyton Woodring. That Georgia touchdown brought to you by Conecuh Sausage, the official smoked sausage of the Georgia Bulldogs. Gunner to hold. Woodring to kick. Snap, hold, kick, up, and good. We're tied at 10, 7:23 to go. Third quarter. The Dogs have come off the deck and have tied it, but a long way to go. Timeout here in Auburn, Alabama. Our second half tonight brought to you by First Franklin Financial. Come see the friendly Franklin.
That one block. You get that one block. That play might go for a score.
We're going to try a 53-yard field goal. Right hash kicking this way. Woodring's kick on its way, and it is good! 53-yarders to give the Dogs the lead. Wow. 53 smackers on that one from Peyton Woodring. And with that good kick, the good hands at All-State will contribute to the Georgia. Big Josh at 6 feet and 240, a fifth-year senior transfer from Illinois, is the lone setback. Gunner under center. He fakes it and rolls to the right. He's bootlegging. He's running to the end zone. 10, 5, corner, pylon, touchdown, I think. Yeah! He got there to the corner. Dogs may have just sealed it at 19-10 with 1:53 to go. Incredible. He dove over the pylon at the last second, but he was going to get in there any way, shape, or form that he could.
What a play call from Mike Bobo. The tendency all season long in short yardage situation when number 2 is in the backfield is to give it to Josh McCray on an A-gap run. We gave them that look. Gunner pulls it, bootlegs for the touchdown. What a play call.
Point after by Peyton Woodring. Right down the middle. It's good, and it's 20-10. Dogs lead, 1:53 to go. Arnold takes the snap, will run it up ahead. Nowhere near. We eat him up at the 50-yard line. It's the Dogs' ball, and it's the Dogs' game. 53 seconds to go. Georgia takes over on downs. Auburn came off the tracks after they had a 10-0 lead. And we're going in the end zone for a 17-0 lead, and they fumbled the ball and never recovered after that. That was in the second quarter late. Georgia with 20 straight points. The lead at 20-10. Now they've got the ball back at midfield and 53 seconds to go.
The rideshare lot's about to get real busy, Scott.
Hopefully you got your own wheels.
I got my own wheels. I'm talking about these Auburn fans walking out of here.
Victory formation for Georgia. Anything sweeter than saying that? Snap it one more time, take one more sweet, beautiful knee, and Gunner Stockton does right on the big Auburn logo. That's a perfect place to kneel down to win the game. Dogs are winners tonight, 20-10. They've won 9 in a row in the series. That matches the longest winning streak in school history in this series. Georgia now 5-1 on the year, 3-1 in the SEC, and what a comeback off the deck. I mean, we were going to be dead and buried, Josh, if they punch it in.
As you see, no Auburn points scored in the second half. Georgia's defense does it again, holds a team scoreless in the second half. Now, if Georgia had lost this game 10-3, I would be pissed saying that Georgia's defense has done it again and your offense has not done it. Shout out Mike Bobo, because Georgia ran some great plays that I have never seen Georgia run. They ran a speed option on 4th down and 1. Gunner takes it, pitches it to Nate Frazier, kind of fumbles it a little bit, but then regains it and runs for the first down. Then the very next play, Gunner flicks it off to Dylan Bell, and Dylan Bell throws to a wide open, I think it was Nate Frazier, who was wide open, and he just overthrew him. So, that ain't Mike Bobo, that's on Dylan Bell for overthrowing Nate Frazier. Just, what great play calling by Mike Bobo. And Woodring hit like a long field goal. Man, Peyton Woodring, except for the one, he did miss one, but that's okay because Peyton Woodring is one of Georgia's best players that never gets talked about. I mean, it's just a shame that he never gets talked about by anybody. So what happens after that? Peyton Woodring misses, and I'm going to address the timeout thing. I can't tell you what was going on. I heard that Kirby said he was trying to say the Auburn player was clapping, and there was footage of an Auburn player clapping. But maybe you don't have to do the timeout, Steve. You weren't clapping, Kirby. You were doing the timeout. I've watched football my whole life. I'm not stupid. So that will be something I disagree with. Kirby called timeout. He knew he was calling timeout. He lied about it. Georgia didn't score on the drive, so, all's well as in well, I guess. They didn't score. Auburn should have been... It feels like to me, after the fumble, everybody at Auburn just was sucked out. All the great vibes, the energy in the building has just been sucked out. And, I felt that before. Because I remember the 2019 LSU game in football when Joe Burrow hit that pass where he threw it and then it hit Georgia player and he caught it and then ran it for a first down. I understand that feeling. I do. I understand that. Basketball, just think about Georgia, Tennessee from January. Georgia's up like 26-25 at halftime. And then Tennessee just starts hitting free after free, and you're like, all your energy's gone. So I understand that, like something really, really bad happening to your team that is just taking your energy out of it. But you have to find a way to fight. Auburn did not do that in the second half. They had 20-something yards in the second half. I think it was 25 second half yards. That doesn't win you any ball game. At one point, they were outgaining Georgia like 201 to 20. Or 100 to 20 or whatever it was. The fact you didn't score any points in the second half is what lost you this game. And then the play of the game, Gunner Stockton's Superman touchdown as Auburn's honoring Cam Newton. Gunner Stockton has a Cam Newton-like play, which a lot of Georgia fans might hate Cam Newton. I do not hate Cam Newton. I think he was a great quarterback, a great player for Auburn, and I felt like his number should have been retired right after he graduated Auburn. But I hate Auburn, but I like Cam Newton. I thought he was a great quarterback. I may have said it because he played for the Patriots, but that's how I feel about Cam Newton. But I am happy that he has his jersey number and number ceremony, retirement ceremony, horrified by the Georgia Bulldogs. We ruined it, and I am glad we did. Gunner Stockton with the Superman dive into the end zone, and then a sack on fourth down. It don't get any better than that. Georgia next plays Ole Miss, and we're going to touch on this briefly because we're going to talk about basketball for the rest of the video. If Georgia does not come out strong in the first half against Ole Miss, Georgia's going to get me by 40 points. Ole Miss is looking ahead to Georgia. They did it last year, and look what happened. They beat Georgia big time. That's what I feel about that. Georgia has to find a way to beat Ole Miss. And if they don't, they're going to be screwed. Now, for the first time since March, we're talking live Georgia Bulldogs basketball. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This Wednesday, in 2 days, the University of Georgia Bulldogs take on the Georgia State Panthers in Atlanta. Game will start. I see exactly what time the game will start. I think it's 6:30, but I want to check just to be sure before I say anything. It's the first game for me too, ladies and gentlemen, so I need a break. I'll make sure there wasn't any article written about it either. Okay. Game starts at 7 o'clock. At the moment, there has not been a Georgia Bulldogs radio network stream. So the Georgia radio might not come to this game, but it will be followable because the Georgia and shout out Dave Conan. He's the Georgia State radio announcer. I got to go down and find my tweet that I tagged him in. The Georgia State radio broadcast. There will be a Georgia State radio broadcast. It's not going to be no student radio. It's going to be their actual radio network. It will be on WRAS FM 88.5 and Low Country Radio Midway, Georgia. Airtime at 7 p.m. So no pregame. They will start at the game at 7. They will start their coverage at 7 p.m. Georgia State's radio announcer is Dave Conan. He's been Georgia State's radio announcer for a very long time. He's one of the most underrated and underappreciated. He's one of the most underrated and underappreciated announcers in this state. I will update and do a video if there is a Georgia Bulldogs radio network stream available, because I do like Dave Conan, but of course I'd rather listen to Scott and the gang or Scott and Chuck. And I'm putting on here. I'm just going to check the Varsity app before I say anything, because they might have streams ahead. Who knows? And the Varsity app crashed. Did not work. It crashed. Okay. Today is Tuesday, Monday. Basketball, men's. Okay, so apparently I could not go that far and look, so we're going to type in Georgia University of Georgia. Oh, I have no internet out here. Okay, that explains a lot. That explains why it's not working. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have any internet out here, so that is. I was wondering why it wasn't working. I was like, oh, I have no internet. And if not, you just listen to it on Georgia State Radio Network as well. That's not what I'm saying, but what I am saying is I would much rather have a Georgia radio broadcast than have to listen to Georgia State's radio, which, of course, again, I don't mind. Dave Conan's a great announcer, but I would much rather listen to Scott and Chuck. So we're going to go right here, type in Georgia Bulldogs. Yeah, so there's so there's nothing yet. And so no live stream available for Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network at the moment. But once again, you can listen to Georgia State Radio at 7 on Low Country, Mid Georgia, and 88. I got to see what the station was again. I kind of forgot it. I'm being ticky on this because I want people to understand there's a way to follow it if you didn't think there was. WRAS FM 88.5 and Low Country Midway, Georgia, with the Georgia State Radio Network and Dave Conan. Airtime 7 o'clock. It's great to be back. It is. It is great for University of Georgia Bulldogs basketball to be back. I'm just so excited. It feels like forever ago we were watching Georgia get down 30-2 against Gonzaga in the the NCAA tournament. And we're back. I mean, we're gonna have a great time with basketball this year because it is my favorite sport. And I'm just excited because we are gonna have so much fun this season. You know, it's going to be difficult because I don't have a computer at the moment, and I'm going to have to find a way to record the games as they go. I can't use my sister's computer on a lot of these games because they go past her bedtime because she's still in school. But even that, we have to stay up an extra few hours and wait for it to get downloaded wait for it to get saved on the website and then archive it. I will. I mean, I am just excited for the game. I know it's an exhibition game. It's for charity, but I'm excited to see Georgia play. There's going to be a lot of new faces this year. Yes, Blue and Dylan come back. Salto Surreal has made huge jumps in this offseason. I cannot wait to see Salto play. And of course, Jacob Wilkinson, Smurf Miller, all the transfers we've got. I'm excited to see them too because, I mean, this team could be the one. Like, you get what I'm saying? Blue and Dylan James are juniors now. This could be the one. This could be the team that finally gets Georgia past a hump and, you know, win 20-something games and makes a deep run in the NCAA tournament. This could be the one, and I hope it is. I'm just so excited. This could be the team that finally gets Georgia past the hump to win something, to make the Final Four or do something like that, win the SEC tournament. This could be the one, and I'm just so excited. I am so excited for this Georgia team to play. And I mean, you know, I understand that there are people who are going to say Georgia's not going to do that, and you don't know yet what Georgia's going to do because it's only the first game of the year. Oh, it's a scrimmage. But the fact that we finally have Georgia basketball again, I'm thankful to God, man. You know, we wouldn't have none of this if it was not for God. And then secondly, it's just been so long. It's been so long that we've had any Georgia basketball. Man, I'm excited. I am excited. I don't know much about Georgia State. I do know that they've played. They've not been good the last few years. Their coach is former Georgia Bulldog Jonas Hayes. And, you know, Georgia and Georgia State's been a weird series. Georgia actually lost the last time they played Georgia State, and Georgia has lost the last few times they've played Georgia State, with the wrong exception of 05-06, I believe. That game was playing Gwinnett. Georgia won that game over Georgia State, but Georgia State has won 2001 and 2002. They beat Georgia. They beat Georgia at home, and they beat Georgia at the Georgia Dome. And then they beat Georgia. Most recently, they beat Georgia in the Cayman Islands in 2018/19 basketball season. That was a very weird tournament for Georgia. They beat Illinois State soundly, then loses to Georgia State, and then loses to Clemson, then lose to Georgia State. So just very weird, very weird team. A very weird event. That Georgia team ended with, I think, 11 wins. 12 maybe, I think it was 11. Because they didn't win any conference. No, they beat Texas in the SEC Big 12 Challenge, and they beat Florida in the. Texas was not in the SEC at that time, so I think their only conference win was. Oh no, they beat Vanderbilt in conference play, and then they beat Florida, and I think that was their only two conference wins. But they did lose to Georgia State in the Cayman Islands Classic, and obviously Georgia State fans are thinking that's this game. We shouldn't be hateful about this game if Georgia wins or Georgia loses or Georgia State wins or Georgia, because it's for charity. It's an exhibition at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. I'm celebrating this game. I will for Georgia's game against Troy in a few weeks too. That more so, Georgia basketball is back, and we get to hear live Georgia basketball. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Georgia basketball preview show will be out in a few weeks. Well, not a few weeks. It'll be out soon because it's October 3rd. I need to get it out before the season starts. It'll probably be next week. And you know what? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm just so happy Georgia basketball is back. You might have noticed new intros. That's right. We are changing up the intros. And we'll have new graphics this year. The old school dog will come back and be the image I use for Georgia basketball. And I mean, I'm just so excited for the season to start. And today is October 13th, and Georgia plays in 2 days, the 15th. I'm just very excited. We're back. I mean, it's been a long time. Georgia hoops is back, baby. And I hope this doesn't drive anybody away, and if it does, I mean, I genuinely don't care if it does or not, because I've been doing this with Georgia basketball. This will be, let's see, 18, so 2019 season, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So this will be my 7th season. 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24. Wait, give me a moment, ladies. Give me a moment. 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26. So yeah, this will be my 7th season. Oh my god, I can't talk. 7th season. This will be my 7th season covering Georgia basketball, and I'm just so excited to get it going. I'm beyond excited. And I did mention a minute ago, it's going to be difficult to do highlights this year. I'm thinking of ways that maybe I could do them. I'm trying to think, maybe do I record the first half on a computer, then do the second half on a phone or something? I don't know, but I am thinking of what to do. But we'll get that, because Wednesday I'm almost sure Georgia State archives their games. So if push comes to shove, I could go to their website and get an archive if I even feel like doing highlights. I hope there's a highlight. I hope that Scott and Chuck do the game, but if not, I understand why not. But guys, we're back. Georgia basketball's back, and I'm just so excited. So Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, Georgia and Georgia State. Let's get it. Let's get it. I am so excited that Georgia Hoops is back. And I'm sure a lot of my close followers and friends are excited Georgia basketball is back. So Georgia and Georgia State. I gotta get up because there's a wasp right beside me where I'm sitting, so I don't want to get stung by a wasp. Georgia and Georgia State, 7 o'clock. Georgia State Radio Network. At 7, coverage starts at 7 o'clock. Georgia basketball is back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Go Dogs. Go Hoop Dogs. Let's say it again now. Go Hoop Dogs.